one of our board members' children was on, and it was adorable.
Aw. All right. I think we're going live.
Okay.
Cool. Are we live, Andrea?
We are live. Yes.
Yay. Hey, everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah, we're excited to hang out with everybody again tonight. This whole meetup on Tuesday evenings is good. It's good for me. I think my husband appreciates it because he says, wow, you have your hair blown out. Actually take a shower.
Yeah.
I showered, but my hair's up. Yeah. But
very good updo. So yeah, welcome if you're joining us live on Facebook. We're so excited to have y'all. Chime in, give us a thumbs up if you're just joining in. I'd love to hear, since tonight's topic is on art, who's your favorite artist? Maybe throw that in the comments below. That'd be kind of fun to see. I usually ask about the weather, but I think some people are so sick of that. And honestly, it is raining here again. So anyway, well, we will just go on and get this started. I'm Ann Barwick, and I am the co-founder of Risk Takers Dream Makers Project. I'm also the owner of A Strong You, where I do personal development and leadership coaching. I am a certified coach, as well as our other co-founder, who I will let introduce.
Yes, I am Andrea Kiesling, co-founder of the RTDM, and I'm also founder of Andrea Kiesling Coaching. I do a lot of accountability work with my business clients, and I am so excited to be doing this interview series today with Wendy. So we're super excited about this because the RTDM mission is to share and celebrate stories of everyday women who are living their dream in hopes of encouraging others to do the same.
Yes, we love to champion passionately purposeful women. And really, we know every one of y'all has a passionate purpose. So if you're not feeling it, we hope you get inspired and connected to it through some of the stories of our interviews. So tonight, I'm really excited to present to y'all Wendy Hickey, who is the founder of a really incredible nonprofit called Art Pop. And I was really lucky to meet her last, I guess it was just in the fall, wasn't it, Wendy?
December, yeah.
December, yeah. And had a wonderful opportunity to meet Wendy at the unveiling of the 2020 Art Pop artists. And behind me is one of them, and the artist, Emily Andrus. And I got to go to the event as her +1 because the painting that I bought from her was one of the paintings that was unveiled that evening. So there were so many great things about it, but one of the best treats was I got to meet Wendy. So Wendy, tell us a little bit about yourself and share your story with us.
Sure. So hi, everybody. Nice to see you. I'm Wendy Hickey, and I'm the founder and executive director of Art Pop Street Gallery. And the pop in Art Pop is public outdoor project. And for anybody who's in the advertising or billboard industry, you know that billboards are known as outdoor advertising. So that's how we have our name, Public Outdoor Project. And what we do is we promote local artists in places you'd probably never expect to see local art. And that's when you're driving on the highway or walking in a downtown area. And it's been a pleasure and a passion project for the last 7 years, and promoting local artists from coast to coast. And it's been my heart and my joy, and I love it. It's what I do.
That's awesome. I love seeing all the photographs and paintings behind you, Wendy.
Yeah. So behind me is one of our displays that's at the Charlotte Airport from our 2019 program, actually. So we have local artist art that's featured at the Charlotte Airport of our classes each year. So this is just a collage of several of the artists. So you see a little bit of everything, woodwork and photography, and our senior high school students' work is up there. So we help senior high school artists. And then we also, most of our program is about adult artists and making sure that they're successful in ridding communities of the starving artists stigma. We don't speak that, and we're here to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I remember meeting the night that I met you at I guess that was the Art Pop unveiling.
Yeah, for 2020, yeah.
For 2020. And it was really neat to see the high school students that had been involved in it as well, to know that y'all support one high school student every year.
Yeah, and we, we started that a couple years ago, adding that component. So in Charlotte, we jury in 20 artists each year, and one of them is a senior high school student, and we provide a scholarship to where they're going to study the arts. And they also get to receive all the benefits that the adult artists get. So it's pretty special to be a senior in high school heading into your freshman year of college and telling people you have a couple $100,000 advertising campaign going on featuring your art. So we love to send them to college with confidence.
Yeah, what a great start. And I also met the adult artists there, and they were just as ecstatic to be a part of this project as well.
Yeah, you picked a heck of a night to meet. It's probably one of my most favorite nights is the reveal. That's the night that we're meeting the artists for the first time. And it's just, I use the word joy a lot. I love to spread joy and bring the joy and be joy. And art is joy. So that night is as joyful as it gets. It's so inspiring and fun, and making the artists feel like rock stars that they should feel like, because they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were. They got to walk across the red carpet and have their piece of art unveiled, and a lot of it there was live. So I know I got to take my my meditator painting there and got to see her, and that was so fun, even to know like that's a personal piece of mine that I love so much, and to see other people get the joy out of it, and to see the artist, and get to have people get to meet her. And so, yeah, I would say it was definitely a joyous night.
Good. I'm so glad.
So I heard this quote this week that I thought was interesting, and pretty timely considering we were going to interview you, but said, science will get us out of this pandemic. Art will get us through it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And I know even when we were first starting to kind of have to hunker down inside, one of the cool things is that you had maps where people could drive around. Because for me, one of the few things we could do with my daughters, they just wanted to get out, but all we could do is just kind of drive around. So we went on scavenger hunts to look for the billboards and find art in Charlotte. So it was really neat to know we had a museum in Charlotte just free to us outside on our streets. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're so welcome. And it's so wonderful to be able to say that we're open 24/7 regardless. And especially right now during the pandemic when, most things are closed, and when you are going a little stir crazy, to be able to take a walking or a driving tour and get to see art and have your moments with it that are private to you, and you get to feel however you want to feel about the art. So I do love that. And I'm so grateful, especially for the artists, because being able to be seen right now is so important.
Yeah, I'm sure. So tell us a little bit about your story. How did this happen for you? What are the struggles you're having right now? And what are the joyous things that are coming about from it all?
Yeah, so for 20 years, I was in the billboard advertising business, selling billboard advertising to major brands. So I was in sales management. My last role in the corporate world was in national sales. So I would travel across the country working with large ad agencies in cities like New York and Minneapolis and Chicago and places like that, and selling advertising to them. But through that 20 years, back in, it was early 2004, 2002-ish, I guess. I was serving on the board of directors for a local arts council in Pennsylvania. and trying to think of what am I really going to do to help local artists in my board role. And it was the light bulb went off for me. It was an epiphany. It was like, okay, Wendy, you sell billboards for a living. Why don't you give artists billboards? So this was many years ago that this started, not known as Art Pop Street Gallery or any of that, but I would work with artists in my community at the time in Pennsylvania, and if they could pay for their vinyl, their printed art on a vinyl that wraps around the billboard, they could be in the program. So there was nothing more to it. It was that grassroots. And as I would move with the company that I was working for, I would recreate that same thing again and again. And then about 4 cities in, I was being transferred to Charlotte and decided that it was time to stop playing around with this idea of art pop and to get serious about it. So we came up with the name Art Pop Street Gallery. And I moved to Charlotte and pitched the idea to the billboard company in Charlotte known as Adams Outdoor Advertising and the Arts and Science Council. And it was literally the day I moved to Charlotte. I put my suitcases down, I pitched the idea. It was an instant yes. And Art Pop Street Gallery officially was born in Charlotte in 2014. And every year we jury in 20 artists, and they collectively, those 20 artists share in a $3 million advertising campaign. And it's just been life-changing for the artists. And for me, doing this passion project for all these years, for 5 years, I stayed with my day job and I built Art Pop in my living room at night. And on May 1st of 2018, I became our first employee ever at Art Pop Street Gallery.
Yay.
Yes, it was monumental. Working one job versus 2 jobs is a really good thing.
Yeah, that had to be very validating at that point.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I remember that day so well, been working towards that for so long, and being a volunteer founder and executive director for 5 years was a long, long journey. But learned a lot over those years and still learning every single day. Running a nonprofit is, ladies, it's not for the faint of heart, I can tell you that. But the program and the community and the family that we've built of 373 artists in 14 cities and 11 states since 2014, I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world. It's been so beautiful. I feel so blessed to be able to do this, to be able to serve artists. But if you think it's easy, or every day is a piece of cake, I promise you it's not. Fundraising in the nonprofit world is, and especially in the arts, is very difficult. Yeah, and thank God I was a salesperson for all those years, so I've been kicked in the teeth a few times and a little resilient. So I don't get my feelings hurt too easy, but I do hear no a lot.
Yeah. So, oh, sorry, I knew the dogs would
scared
love
you.
that.
That's the joy of live.
Quit. Sorry, I'm having a dog fight right now. Quit. Hold on.
It's okay.
Leave them alone. Sorry about that.
That's funny.
The excitement of working from home. So you said when you started Art Pop and you were kind of still working, what was the big shift for you when you pivoted over to just solely focusing on Art Pop?
The 5 years that Art Pop was formalized and, had a name and a mission, and we became a nonprofit in August of 2015, I knew I was working towards the goal of being a full-time employee one day. That I had my eye on that prize the whole time, especially when I started getting serious about it back in 2014. But the change came from grants and funding that allowed that to happen. But what I've discovered in the nonprofit world is most funding is not of an endowment type or a perpetuity type. It's a 1 year or a 2 year thing. So creating sustainability is very difficult. And so that's something that, you know, I thought would probably come a little easier, but the changeover, you know, May 1st, like I remember that day so clearly of, I work here now, you know, we built this, me and the board and so many incredible volunteers, we built this and it's real and it's really happening. And it was overwhelming emotion, you know, and it's been wonderful to be able to focus. So that's been the biggest thing is being able to put full focus on our program and offering additional benefits to artists outside of what we call the artvertising campaign for the artists. We've added so many different things. So I love the growth of the program and how we're serving artists. And, you know, being able to just only work here. And I still work in my living room, by the way, folks. So the building of it in my living room at night hasn't changed. So the day to day is still the same, even in a COVID atmosphere, I'm still working from home. But it's great to be able to only have Art Pop on my plate and not also be doing an advertising sales job.
Yeah, I bet just to be able to have that main focus there.
Yeah.
To dedicate.
Yeah, and the industry, you know, I don't know how many people are listening or watching or curious about that, but the relationships that I was able to build over those 20 years of working in the industry are the reason why we get to do what we do today, because I can call any of those companies, as big as they are, Clear Channel Outdoor, Outfront Media, Lamar, Adams, any of those companies, I can call them. They're familiar with our program and they're always ready to help. So you've got this, you know, billions of dollars industry and all this advertising that in their hearts, they're so wonderful. And they donate space to Art Pop Street Gallery so that there's, you know, there's never a billboard that says available. We're showing local artists art on it. And so they've been, the industry that I've served in for 20 years has, it's like a family, and they say yes to Art Pop all the time. It's just, we're so fortunate.
Yeah, well, that's a great testimony to Wendy, to that we are always where we need to be at this moment, right? And you may have never envisioned Art Pop 20 years ago, but you were building those connections and learning the cells and all of that kind of stuff, and it led up to this. So I think that's an important thing to remember, that wherever anybody is right now, it is a stepping stone to the next place that you will be.
Yeah. And I think, you know, you hear a lot of people saying that they couldn't wait to leave the corporate world and go into whatever it is that they were going into. But I loved my job. I really did. I enjoyed it. I had wonderful clients, and I got to travel to incredible cities and do business at the biggest of advertising agencies and meet some of the coolest people ever from certain brands and spirits and all sorts of different things. So I loved my job, and I love the out-of-home medium. People make fun of me all the time about how much I love billboards, but I love billboards. They're so damn effective, right? And so to build the nonprofit from the industry that I enjoyed so much has just been wonderful. And then doing what I did for brands, for local artists who most of them could not afford an advertising campaign of this caliber, to be able to tie that whole thing together. I mean, I got the best job in the world. Awesome.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So, okay, I got to ask, are you an artist?
No, I'm not. I do enjoy photography, which is absolutely art, and we have lots of photography in our program. I believe in, I'm such a huge fan of that discipline of art, and I do some of that, but I don't do it for the public. I do it, I enjoy taking pictures and especially of flowers and doors and numbers. I'm crazy about that type of thing, but that's so private for me. I don't put that out there to the public. It really came from talking to artists and serving on this arts council and hearing over and over again these wildly talented people who just didn't know how to market themselves. And I thought, well, I'll be damned. That's what I do. I'm going to become the voice of local artists and make sure that they're marketed well and make sure that they're seen and successful. And so that's really where it came from. is using my career to amplify and become a megaphone for local artists.
That's awesome. Yeah. Your career, you're like, yeah, the ability that you have to, like you said, sell and talk to people and hear no,
Yeah.
and push through that.
Yes.
And know there will be yeses. That's not something that's very comfortable for most people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd say the artists are really lucky to have you as their advocate.
And I'm lucky to have them. You know, the relationships with these artists, I've gotten to meet every one of them except for maybe a couple in one city that we were in a few years ago. It just didn't quite work out that we had the same type of, being able to meet them in person. But I know all 373 artists who have been in our program. So you get to know them and you get to hear about their successes and you meet their family and we have get-togethers. And so, I think that word family gets used loosely a lot. But we mean it, and we've been there for our artists in so many different ways. So I get to see them grow and hear their good stories, and get to be a part of that. And I don't have children, and I say this all the time, that I have 373 artist babies that I adore, and they're my pride and joy. So I'm the lucky one. Yeah.
It's a win-win then.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Win-win. Well, I have a couple more questions for you, but first I just wanted to check in with Andrea because I have no idea what's going on Facebook over there. Andrea, are there any questions that?
Yeah, we're going to open it up now for questions. So if anybody has one they want to share, we're monitoring that. So please feel free to jump in. And Wendy, I have a quick question for you. Usually people who are in positions that they do not enjoy their roles, that's usually when another thing is born out of the dislike of a job or just not enjoying what they're doing. So because you loved your job so much, but you were also equally passionate about this art pop project, what really was the thing that drove you to make that change?
Well, when the idea started in early 2000, I started thinking, as we did this maybe in 2 or 3 different cities, gosh, maybe I could really do this. Maybe this could be my full-time gig one day, So it had always been something that I wanted to turn it into. I just wasn't sure how that was going to happen. But people really do enjoy the program. Both, of course, the artists do, because it brings success to them and brings more sales to them, but the public also enjoys it. They're surprised by it, when you're walking and you see in a downtown and you see a newsstand or, all that. So the transition was natural. It did take much longer than I expected it to, though, to be very transparent on that. I would have loved to have not worked 2 jobs for 5 years.
For sure. For sure. Well, I was just thinking as you were talking about this, Wendy, how there are so many wins in this scenario, the artists who get to have this voice and be seen and have this platform that you get to share, the billboard agencies who don't have to display a a blank slate up there, for all of the public who gets to enjoy the visual of, seeing these in our neighborhoods and on the travel. So it's just like, there's so many wins in this scenario, and you who get to fulfill your passion in doing this. So this is such a cool project, not a lot of businesses or, projects at all that we have seen have come from so many wins. So it's just really incredible to just note how many wins are involved in this. So that's super cool. And I'll let you take it back with any of your questions, and I'll be watching down here to see if any more questions come in.
Okay, great. Thanks, Andrea. So I guess a couple of the questions that I have for you, Wendy, are one, how does an artist get involved? Like, how, I know there's kind of an application process, or tell us about that.
So what we do in the cities that we're in, and this year, just so everybody knows, our programming is in the Charlotte region, the Triad region of North Carolina. We're in Columbus, Ohio, and we're opening up a new city this year, Atlanta, and we're actually in our call. So you asking about that is perfect. What we do is we do an open call for artists to submit their work. The artists who apply have to be 18 years of age or older. They have to have an active artist website, and they have to live in the area of our call. So if you are in Charlotte and we have a call in Columbus, Ohio, you cannot apply for that. You have to live in Columbus, Ohio. So once the call ends, we have a panel of judges that jury the work. And depending on what we've negotiated in that city for space, that would be the number of artists that we get to jury into the program. So since we're in Charlotte right now, we'll stay focused on that. In Charlotte every year, we are able to jury in 20 artists. And then 19 of those are the adult artists and 1 is a senior high school student. So we waive the 18 years of age and we waive the active artist website, but the senior high school artists must be attending college to study the arts after high school graduation. That's their requirement. And then once we jury in the work, I get to make the best phone call ever and call them and let them know. I try to always do that live and, on the phone so we can talk together and I can let them know that they were juried in. And then we have a reveal event. And then we have an installation soon after that where the artists are up on billboards, newsstands, the airport, shopping center displays. We have pop-up gallery shows. There's so many different things. And we've added an education component to the program now too. So all of our artists who are juried in, they receive a 2-day business course on how to live a sustainable life as an artist so that as they're receiving this incredible advertising campaign, that they know exactly what to do with it.
Wow, that's really cool. So you're helping them make the best of it. It sounds
Yes.
like.
Yes.
It's not just kind of a one and done, but how can you keep them going so they can grow their work?
Yes, and they're featured for an entire year. So if you can imagine having an advertising campaign as a local artist for an entire year, like a big brand, like a Coca-Cola or a Budweiser, it's a game changer for them.
Yeah, that's huge. So, okay. So, and I know you said there's Charlotte, there's Columbus, there's Atlanta is an area that's getting started.
Yes, so we're in our call right now for the first time ever in Atlanta. So our 7-year history as Art Pop Street Gallery has been in Charlotte, but we've been in 14 cities in 11 states in total. That changes all the time. And if you're going, well, why are you in 4 when you were in 14? So if we lose funding in a particular city, then we'll look to a new city. And we've been very fortunate in Charlotte for 7 continuous years to be able to be here this entire time in what we call our home market. But we've had our eyesights on a larger city. And so Atlanta was a natural fit. It was a short drive from Charlotte. Huge city. If you've ever been to Atlanta, there's billboards absolutely everywhere. And there's major, like three major companies in the industry there, and they've all said yes. So we're going to be at the Atlanta airport. We're going to be on billboards all over Atlanta. We're going to be on MARTA Transit. We're going to be on bus shelters. These artists who are juried into this program are going to change the landscape of Atlanta, Georgia.
That is so exciting. That's thrilling.
Especially right now. I mean, we're in COVID right now and we're in a call, and these artists know that there's hope on the other side of this thing, because as soon as we come out of this, they're going to be big into about a $6 million advertising campaign.
Wow. Yeah. So that's great. A really bright light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. So I can't wait. Saturday night at 11:59 p.m. the call will end and we get to review the art and make 30 people's day.
Fun. That's going to be a fun night for you to be able to review it all, and gosh, just to be able to look at all the art and fill your soul, I would imagine, as you get to review it all.
Oh yeah, and we get everything, painting, photography, wood, glass, mosaics, you name it. We have featured it.
So tell me about how you get your funding and what type of people would be interested in funding.
Okay. Every city, everybody. So literally, we have a charity GoFundMe line. It used to be known as CrowdRise, and it was recently acquired by GoFundMe. But it's different than like you doing a GoFundMe for a new motorcycle. This is for charities. So so it's a charity GoFundMe, and people can donate there safely, $10 or more. So sometimes our programs are built on individual donations. And a lot of times our program is built on foundations and grants. And so this is where it's not quite as exciting for anybody who's listening out there. This is the tough part. This is where it gets really difficult, is most grants are 1 to 2 years at best. So the reinvention of our program each and every year, honestly, is just absolutely exhausting and very difficult because you have to find, you can't count on a grant longer than a year or two, and to find the funding, which we don't require much at all because we do get our space donated to us. So we have a very small budget, but it is difficult. And you can see from our footprint, we have been in 14 cities and 11 states. And in 2020, we will be in 4 cities, 3 states. So you can kind of see how that gets cyclical or ending. And we're even facing extreme difficulties right now in Charlotte. We do not know in Charlotte, in the city that we've served 130 artists in for 7 years, we do not know that we will be back in 2021. So it is a tough, tough time right now. Arts funding is always probably a little bit further on the back shelf when it comes to funding and donations. So that's why I always say it's not for the faint of heart, and I have no fear. I will call anyone and ask anyone to make sure that we can keep featuring these artists. But arts funding it doesn't come easy.
Well, and it is interesting that you think art is really, as in the quote that I said before, is what's getting us through this time.
No.
Right. And having beautiful things to look at and notice, and art and music has really been something that's connected our souls, I think, so many people during this time.
No doubt. You know, and the artists are, you know, what they're creating during COVID and what they're bringing to people to get all of us through, you know, whether that is, you know, they're doing something like we're doing right now, you know, but they're sharing their processes, they're showing their art on social media, they're having to, you know, make shops on social media, and maybe some of them already did that, but they're all having to reinvent themselves right now, and they're all so damn scrappy and so smart, and bringing, you know, and changing and pivoting for their worlds. But all of that we get to enjoy. So I can only hope through COVID that, you know, everything that people are being drawn to right now, to look at paintings, to read poetry, to listen to music, that they realize how important it is to your well-being to be exposed to art, that perhaps maybe we'll have our biggest success ever after this. I'm the forever optimist, and I hope that happens. But again, for full transparency, I am scared to death right now. I have no idea what's going to happen to Art Pop in 2021. There is nothing that's saying right now, we have your back, Art Pop Street Gallery. Here's your check. Here's, you know, we're absolutely going to invest in your mission. We don't know that past our 2020 programming, which runs through about July 2021. Yeah, so we don't know our fate right now. So it is a very scary time for me, for our mission, for all the work that's been put into it, and for all the success that the artists have had. That's my biggest fear, is for them to go unseen. And that's keeping me up at night right now, for sure. Maybe you can see the bags and the gray hair.
Well, you look great, but it is completely, it makes sense. Your fear there of the unknown, and with our economy, and this is your baby, right?
Yeah.
So to have that unknown of what's going to happen. I, like you, am an optimist, and I have a theory that will come out of all of this with the most incredible music and art than we've had in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Just because people are hunkering down, and like you said, they're scrappy, they're getting innovative, they're you know, they have some more time, right? And they're having to think in different ways. So
Yeah.
I think that has got to grow, grow the change that's going to happen. And
I think so. I think, one of the, people who are affected by COVID right now and are thinking, well, gosh, I can't do anything to help this mission. Well, I promise you, you can, with Facebook and Instagram and artist websites, please seek out a local artist in your community, follow them on social media, like their posts, say something nice about their art, because that helps their algorithm. So if you can't buy a piece of art right now or support a local artist right now, you can do that through social media. I promise you, liking and following someone's page makes a huge difference. And sharing, if you see a piece of art that you like, don't be quiet about it. Share it. Let people know what you're enjoying, and let someone else enjoy that too, and introduce them to the artist. So it's not always about the being able to buy the art. We would love for you to buy their art if you could, but if you can't, like and follow them and comment on their posts. That's so important to share and comment. It makes all the difference in the world. You never know who's going to see it if you share it.
yeah, I love that. I mean, that's a huge network. So even if you don't have the funds to donate or to buy the art, but to share it and share this. If you've watched this video, share it with anybody that you know, and maybe some art fanatics that would love to and do have the money to fund Art Pop as well.
Exactly. And that we, our website is artpopstreetgallery.com, and you can go to our Meet Our Artists tab on our website, and you can see all 7 years of the artists, all 373 pieces, and be redirected. If you like a piece, if you hover over the left-hand corner of the art, it'll take you straight to the artist's website. So you can connect with them yourself and get to know them. And if you would like for me to make any sort of connection, if there's a discipline of art that you love, I can connect you personally to the artists. I do know every single one of them. So I'm happy to make that connection for those artists, but just really want everybody to support them in any way that you can, even if it's just liking a post.
Yeah, and I love the idea of just going to your website, and that could be an evening out at a gallery, basically, as you peruse all the different art that you have on the Art Pop website.
Yeah, and same with Instagram and Facebook. One thing that's happening right now that I'm super excited about is one of our artists from 2019. Her name is Lori Love, and she's a mixed media artist and makes all of her art out of CDs and vinyls. She does these incredible musician portraits, and her art sells for $12,000, $20,000. Well, she has donated a $12,000 mixed media piece of Prince, the musician known as Prince, and she has donated that in an auction right now, and it's up for auction right now. So you could literally get a $12,000 piece of art for $20, and all proceeds benefit Art Pop Street Gallery. So one of our artists is doing that for us right now. I mean, how amazing is that?
That's amazing. That really is. I mean, that's community, right? And pulling together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's wonderful. I think I saw her pieces. Maybe it was on Facebook. So
yeah. Yes. If you go to our Instagram, our handle is Art Pop Street Gallery, all one word. We have a link tree in the profile, and that link tree will take you to everything that we have going on in every city, every opportunity to donate or connect to an artist or buy a $20 raffle ticket to win a $12,000 piece of art. All of that's on there. Everything's on our website, and I'm very accessible. So if anybody does have any questions one-on-one with me, or maybe has a connection they could make for our organization, please reach out. I'd love to talk with you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Wendy. And I think Andrea has a few more questions for you.
Sure.
Yes. So one of the questions we had, Wendy, was just how we can support some of these local artists during this time, which you just touched on. And, that's it. Those are great tips, and also easy for all of us to be able to do, just liking, commenting, sharing art. That's something we can all do. So I'm glad you shared that. We had another question for several minutes ago, and I think you did touch on most of it. Just to be sure that we get everything, though, Jerry King asked, maybe Wendy could mention the other places that her art is shown. I mean, we see you in airports, obviously billboards, newsstands, etc. Where else can we see you around all the cities that you have presence in?
So in Charlotte, in addition to the billboards and newsstands, we're at 3 shopping centers, Waverly, Ray Farms, and Ballantyne Village, and we're on outside digital displays. So like think Jumbotron, you know, so we're there. And then we also in Charlotte do pop-up gallery shows. We do 4 of those a year with the La Meridian Hotel in Uptown. And it's a chance for the community to engage with 5 artists at a time, see their body of work, and be able to buy from them at that event. And we do replicate the pop-up shows. We do once a year in Columbus, Ohio. But you know, it's anywhere, think about us as anywhere that you would normally see an advertisement for any type of product or brand. Instead of seeing that, you're going to see Art Pop. So we try to get as much of that space as we can possibly get. Streets, newsstands, billboards, airports, we're everywhere.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's great. Do y'all look for people to donate that space as well?
So because of my background, we're great with space. Like I am so fortunate to have the relationships with these companies. Where we lack is the cash to do our program. So it costs to do installations, it costs for printing, it costs for our artist university class, it costs to pay staff, you know, all of the things that we would use the funding for. It's not a lot. We don't ask for a lot, but we don't really need space, to be honest with you. I'm very fortunate to have those connections where that's the easiest part of this. I'm so happy to be able to say that. The toughest part is the little bit of funding that we need is finding organizations, foundations, or individuals who want to contribute to that.
Great. That's good to know. And you also, don't you have a map on your website of where, if somebody wanted to go in the scavenger hunt to find the places in Charlotte or
Yeah.
maybe in the other cities?
We typically do that on social, and I'll explain why. With the billboards, they're on space available, and the artist art is printed on vinyl that's wrapped around the billboard. So as soon as the billboard sells to a paid advertiser, it moves somewhere else. So you could see it one day in Charlotte on I-77 in Charlotte, and you could see it the next week on 77 in Rock Hill or I-85 in Gastonia or something like that. So it's really difficult for us to be in the moment with that. But all the artists are always kept up to date of where they are. And a lot of it does come as a surprise. There are some of our products like the newsstands that don't move that, yes, we provide maps for that, but the billboards are a little bit tougher of an animal to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Andrea, did you want to, did you have some final questions?
Yep, we have some final questions for you, Wendy. What would be just a final bit of wisdom that you would share with our viewers that you believe would have the most impact on them today?
You know, I think that for me, sharing would be, if you have a passion in your heart, don't make light of that. If you believe that it is something that you can do, go do it. Life is short. I think that, you know, if you have something in mind, an idea in mind, go make it happen. The only thing that I would share is, if you are interested in the nonprofit world, I would ask you to think about what your mission is and see if somebody is already doing that, and find a way to collaborate with them, because starting and running and building a sustainable nonprofit organization is not for everyone. And what I wouldn't want anybody to have happen to them is be so passionate about it and it get kind of it get knocked down a little bit by the work that it takes, because it's not for everyone. I can promise you that. But never think that your idea isn't a good idea. And try it and just go for it, you know, go for it. You can do anything that you want to do.
Yeah. Well, I love that advice, especially because that's kind of the premise of Risk Takers, Dream Makers. You know, we're big advocates of taking the risk, just going for it, because why not?
Why not?
So it certainly aligns with our mission of RTDM. Wendy, we're so appreciative of your time and all that you've shared with us, and especially your work in this incredible initiative. You mentioned your website, artpopstreetgallery.com. Would you also tell us where we could get in touch with you if we have any other questions?
Yes, my my email is wendy@artpopstreetgallery.com. You can reach me through the website. You can reach me through Instagram. You can reach me through Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn. I'm extremely active on LinkedIn right now. So anyone, I'm very approachable, very much want to connect with people. So yes, please feel free to reach out anytime.
Fantastic. Thank you. When we were going to add that to the comments box. So if anybody's interested in, finding Wendy or artpopstreetgallery.com, please take a look at the comments and we'll direct you there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much, Wendy, for sharing this, and hopefully we can we've reached even maybe new viewers for Art Pop.
Yeah.
And I know I love finding the billboards as I'm driving around, and even my kids get excited about it. They're like, oh, there's an Art Pop billboard. So yeah, if any of y'all start to notice those, if you're the passenger, not the driver, maybe take a quick photo of it and post it and share it with others and share the art that you got to see that's free to all of us right now. So
yeah, I think sharing is the best thing that you can do, and commission an artist. If you've got something in your that you're wanting to have a portrait or anything, artists can create and design anything for you, and it's probably something that you can have and you should have in your home, and you should know who the artists are and have a story behind it.
yeah. So thank you so much, Wendy. I look forward to being able to have lunch with you again.
Yes, I cannot wait to be face to face. And if anybody listening out there does have friends in the Triad region of North Carolina or Atlanta, Georgia, please encourage your artist friends to apply for our program. The calls are open now. They close May 23rd for Atlanta and June 15th for the Triad. So the time is now to apply.
Okay, good to know about the Triad area. So that's Winston-Salem, Greensboro.
Yeah, it's a 12 county call, so it's a really big area of the Triad. But the main cities, yes, are High Point, Greensboro, Winston-Salem.
Okay, super, super. I'll spread the word in that area as well, because that's my hometown.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you in person.
Yes, I can't wait. Everybody knows I'm a hugger, and I'm just so ready to hug the universe right now. Yeah. All right. Have a great night, everybody, and support local art, please.
Yes, please. Thanks. Bye, y'all.
All right. Bye. Take care, everybody.